Hey, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And welcome. Okay, y'all, it's cold everywhere. For my folks that are in the upper Midwest, but you guys got this below zero stuff going on, I wish you all well. This is why I got to stay east of the Mississippi and south of the Mason-Dixon line because that's just too much. Okay, all right. If you're catching this on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay so that I know that you were here. And when you jump on, let me know who you are and where you're from. And if you are catching this on the replay, you can skip ahead to about the minute and a half to 2 minute mark to get to the content. So while my live viewers are jumping on, I'm going to be sharing this out to a few of my favorite spots, and I encourage you to do the same. All right, let's see how well this works out today. We actually have a 2 hour delay here because of the temperatures, you know. Compared to some of the other stuff, that's some weak stuff that's going on. But hey, it is what it is. All right. So let me get this shared out, and then we'll get going. Whew, here we go again. Lord have mercy. There we go. And let me get one or two more spots, and then we'll be ready to go. Hey, Zandra. Oops, I can't type. Let me hush. If I hush, then maybe I can focus. All right, cool. So here we go. Okay, let's get started with the housekeeping announcements. I got my list here. Okay, today is January 31st. This is the deadline for people who live in areas impacted by Hurricane Florence. You have until midnight tonight to get your taxes filed, your 2017 taxes filed, if you had a valid extension already filed. And how could I forget this? Today is the deadline for filing 1099 miscellaneous. So if you paid a person that is not a business, but a person, if you paid them over $600, you paid them with a check or something like check or cash, then you have to file those 1099s by tonight. Okay. So if you need help with that, reach out to me. We can get you taken care of. All right. February 15th is the release date for refunds that contain the earned income tax credit and the additional child tax credit. And then February 28th is the deadline for filing 2017 taxes if you live in areas impacted by Hurricane Michael. March 15th, is the deadline for filing for partnerships and S-Corps. The failure to file penalty for S-Corps is $195 a month, and for partnerships is $200 a month. And then tax day is April 15th. That is when your annual tax liability is due. And also your Q1 estimated tax payments are also due on April 15th. And here's something else that I did not mention, and it's just one of those things I just forgot. So if you did not make your Q4 estimated tax payment by January 15th, you can you can file your taxes by today and pay your tax liability to avoid penalty. Okay. I know that's a whole lot. But hey, if you're ready to do that, then you can file by today and not have to pay a penalty. But otherwise, if you're not prepared to do that, you may have a penalty for missing your Q4 estimated tax payment. But make sure that you file your taxes on time by April 15th. Okay. So I do believe that is all of the housekeeping announcements. It's a laundry list of them, right? So let me get the intro out the way, and then we will get down with the content. Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. Okay, right now, today, we're going to be talking about tax debt. So with the tax reform, one of the things that we are seeing is that there are people that are having unexpected tax bills. We talked before about how tax reform has impacted people. We're seeing increased tax liabilities. We're also seeing reduced refunds, but we're also seeing people who normally may have gotten a refund or maybe even come close to breaking even. They're having these unexpected tax bills because of maybe a shift in tax bracket, because of the state and local tax limitation, because of the removal of the 2106 for employee expenses. So there are people who are now sitting down and saying, holy cow, I have a tax bill. Right. And this is, hasn't happened before. So it's not, now what do you do? So, and I did have that happen where I had a client that said what am I going to do here? And normally, and the other thing that happens too, as an aside from all this, what's shocking to people is that, when you pay someone to prepare your taxes, yes, you have to pay that tax professional that did the work to prepare your taxes and your tax bill. We don't work for the IRS. We are not the IRS. We are tax professionals who run a business and feed our kids and all that stuff. So what do you do if you have a tax bill that you can't pay? Well, you absolutely file your taxes. Okay. There are people who say, okay, I can't pay it, so I'm not going to file. That does not help you at all, because then you incur the failure to file penalty. And the failure to file penalty is more expensive than the failure to pay penalty. Okay. And so if you don't file your taxes at all, you are going to incur that penalty from the time the tax was due up until they assess the penalty and you pay it. Okay, so you're going to still have penalties, and those penalties are also going to accrue interest. All right, so you definitely want to file your taxes. Now, if you have a tax liability that you can't pay, you want to pay something. Whatever that is. If you've got a $1,500 tax bill and you got $100, you want to send the $100. You're like, why in the world would I do that? Well, because your penalties and interest are based on the amount that you owe. So you want to reduce that as much as possible. You can also work out a payment plan with the IRS, depending on, what the tax debt is. You can work out a payment plan with the IRS to pay it off over time. But yeah, the penalties and the interest are still going to accrue. So if you file on time, you're going to incur the failure to pay penalty, which is not as expensive as the failure to file penalty. Okay. So you got to get that right. And if you plan to work out something with the IRS, some sort of payment plan, you have to file anyway. The IRS will not work with you unless you are current on all of your tax filings. So if you don't file today, you're going to have to file today. You're going to have to file later on, and it's going to cost more. Okay. Because when you're talking about filing multiple years, then it's going to cost you more at one time. So you definitely want to file. And then if it's, that you wind up having a tax debt because you didn't have enough withholdings, then, you go and adjust your withholdings so more can be taken out to reduce your tax bill in the future. This is why I strongly urge everyone to look at their total tax. What does that look like? Because everybody has a total tax due. Even if it's zero, there's a line on your tax return that says total tax. So you need to look at what your what was on your tax return for last year. Look at your withholdings. And then what is your tax bill for this year? So when you're filing your taxes for this year, look at your tax bill. Like, what is the total? And then look at your withholdings to see if you're on track to cover that tax bill. Okay. If you have estimated tax payments, you got to make those estimated tax payments, because otherwise you incur a penalty for not making those estimated tax payments. And estimated tax payments can be a little funky, especially when it comes down to business owners, because, depending on the industry that you're in, your pay can fluctuate, right? So with tax professionals, for instance, we make the bulk of our money in the first quarter of the year. So that you might have a higher estimated tax payment for the first quarter than you would for your second, third, and fourth quarter. But the thing about it is that if you get an estimated tax payment that's based on an amount of money that you don't make, you have to reach out to the IRS to say, hey, I didn't make this amount, this amount of money. This is what I made. And this is what the profit is. And then there's a form that you can file to adjust the amount that's due. But this is going to require you to be on your game, on your books, watching out for your income and expenses so that you can meet those requirements. So this is what I'm saying. It's like, but the thing that you just don't do is you just don't not file. You have to file your taxes so that you can stay current and that the IRS will work with you. If you can't pay your taxes, they're not going to just come for you and put you in jail. That's not how it works. Now, if you're doing something illegal like tax evasion, that's a whole entirely different story. But if you file your taxes the way that you're supposed to and you wind up with a tax debt, no, nobody is going to go and put you in jail. You can work something out with the IRS. Now, if you work out a payment plan with the IRS, you need to stay on that payment plan. Do not miss a payment. If you do miss a payment or have to miss a payment, you notify the IRS ahead of time, okay? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to just let it go and think it's going to go away, because then they can come back and demand the payment for the full amount now, like all of it. Okay. So you got to stay on that payment plan. And you also have to file your taxes on time for the next 5 years. So that means that if, you get on a payment plan for this year and then next year you decide, okay, I'm just not going to file. No, that is not okay, because then again, they can come back and demand all that they owe immediately. Okay, so you definitely want to, if you work out a payment plan, stay on the payment plan. If you need to, if something happens and you can't, like, especially for our furloughed people, right? Government shutdown people, okay, you can't make this payment, then yeah, you need to be, reaching out to the IRS to say, hey, I didn't get a paycheck, and so I can't make this payment. And so as long as you stay in touch with the IRS and work with them, they will work with you. They are not trying to put you in jail, because then they don't get their money, right? They're not trying to put you in jail. And I want you to really understand that. They want to work with you so that you can pay whatever this bill is, in the most efficient way as possible. Okay. So at the end of the day, file your taxes. All right. You definitely want to do that. Don't miss that filing. And then you can work out the rest with the IRS. And also don't forget your state as well. Okay. A lot of people talk about the federal government. States are like piranhas. They will come at you with sharp teeth and deep and quick. All right. So, the federal, you take care of your state. If you're dealing with tax debt, work with your state and make sure that's taken care of, and the feds will work with you as well. But just don't forget the state part, because the state will come for you. I'm telling you, I have seen it. It is not cute with the way that states will come for you. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. And you can come here to get your questions answered. All right. Have a great day. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.